Hello Resi Drivers, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is really a reaction video. I'm reacting to Tiffany Haddish. The reason I decided to react is I was on TikTok the other day and I came across a couple of reaction videos. One was by a Zimbabwean lady. She spoke very well. Another one was by a man from Congo, I believe. So they were reacting to Tiffany's video on TikTok. So after watching those two videos, I thought, okay, I'll go and listen to the original video. I just want to see what was said in that video. So I watched Tiffany's video. Personally, I didn't see anything or I didn't hear anything wrong with the video. What she said wasn't bad, but I understand why Zimbabweans were upset or annoyed. I understand why Africans feel the way they do or why they reacted the way they did. But I'm here to give my opinion on that. And specifically, I'm not dwelling on Tiffany's video because I understand, as I said, why Africans are upset or Zimbabweans. It's because Tiffany expressed surprise. She was surprised to find out that we have supermarkets in Zimbabwe. She was surprised by that. And as far as I'm concerned, Tiffany was doing God's work. And I'm going to explain why I say that. She was doing God's work because of us Africans, us Zimbabweans. The real problem is not with Tiffany. And quite frankly, I don't think it matters if we have supermarkets in Zimbabwe or not. I don't think that's the issue. The issue here, the issue for me is with us Zimbabweans. We are the problem. Africans are the problem. Zimbabweans are the problem. I am the problem. Tiffany is not the problem. And as I said, she was just doing God's work. The reason she was doing God's work is that we have done a disservice to ourselves as Africans. We have done so much damage to the point that the world believes certain things about us as Africans, as Zimbabweans. The world believes negative things about us. And like I said, I want to emphasize this point. It doesn't matter whether we have supermarkets or not. That's not the point. It's not even relevant. Even if our supermarkets are different from the way supermarkets are made in countries like United States or the UK and so on. Even if our supermarkets are different, because we are Africans, I believe we do things the African way. So this is where I'm coming from with this. Anyway, let me go back to the point. The point I'm trying to make is we have done so much damage in terms of our reputation, in terms of how we portray ourselves or how we portray Africa to the world. It's the way we talk about ourselves. It's the way we carry ourselves. And I'll give specific examples. Personally, I don't think that us as Zimbabweans, as Africans, I don't think that we love ourselves enough. I don't think that we are proud to be Zimbabweans. We are proud to be Africans. I don't think that we do a good job in representing Africa. And when I say represent Africa, I'm not talking about trying to convince people that, oh, we have nice airports, we have good supermarkets, we have cars in Africa, we don't live in trees. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about representing ourselves, coming from a place of pride. And by the way, when I talk about pride, I'm not talking about one of the 7 deadly sins. I'm talking about pride in who we are as Africans, embracing ourselves in totality. I don't even know where to start with this. Okay, I'll give an example of language. I made a video a few weeks ago. It was kind of a rant. I was ranting about the fact that some of Zimbabweans who are in Zimbabwe at the moment, some of them refused to use Shona names as names for their streets because they said, and this is what I read in the paper that I referenced in that video, they said it's because using Shona names or Ndebele names degrades that area. This is how we see ourselves as Africans. This is what we think about ourselves. We are not even proud to be ourselves. We don't even like ourselves. And people from outside, when they hear those things, when they realize, okay, Africans don't really like themselves, Africans don't really like their languages. They see their languages as inferior. They see their languages as degrading. So that place must be shite. If Africans see their languages as degrading, if they see themselves like that, then it means that that place, that Africa, must be an awful place. People like Tiffany, or people Tiffany was trying to convince that actually Zimbabwe or Africa is not like that. The people Tiffany was trying to convince are not to blame. Africans are to blame, Zimbabweans are to blame because of the things we say about Zimbabwe, the things we say about Africa when we are interacting with people from other nations. I have heard some shocking things being said about Zimbabwe by Zimbabweans when they are talking to other people or people from other nations. I have heard some shocking things. I have heard some shocking things being said about Africa by Africans, by us, when we are talking to other people from other nations. I have heard some shocking things. We are so quick to talk negatively about our countries when we talk to other people. We are so quick. We do that very easily. We don't even bat an eyelid. We don't even flinch. And this is what disappoints me. I've said this and I'm going to say it again. We have challenges in Zimbabwe. We have challenges in Africa. Just like the way other countries have challenges. We all have challenges. That is a fact. Other countries, some of the things that happen in other countries are quite shocking, quite frankly. Things that don't even happen in Zimbabwe. And please don't get me wrong. I'm not playing down on our problems, on our issues. That's not the issue here. The issue here is about us as a collective. Tinofukura hapwa so easily. It has become so easy for us to say awful things about ourselves. And as I said, some things are not even true. For example, if I say Zimbabwe is a peaceful country, I wouldn't be surprised if people were to come in the comment section talking about politics in the comment section, mentioning political parties, this and that. Whereas all I've just said is Zimbabwe is a peaceful country. Just like the UK is a peaceful country. But that doesn't mean that awful things don't happen in the UK. If I say Zimbabwe is peaceful, it doesn't mean that bad things don't happen in Zimbabwe. Bad things happen everywhere. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make in this video is the reason people like Tiffany are shocked and surprised that we have good things in Zimbabwe, we have nice things in Africa, is because of the things we say about ourselves, about our countries. We are always portraying ourselves in a negative light. And as I said, we do it so easily. It almost comes naturally to us. And that's what I don't understand. Yes, it is okay for us to point out bad things, because when bad things are happening, they should be pointed out, just like things are pointed out in the UK, in the US, in other places. They should be called out, quite rightly so. And also, there was a time when I made a video talking about our culture, what I love about the Zimbabwean culture. Someone made a comment. They later deleted it because I checked them. I really checked them because I wasn't happy with that comment. I wasn't, and I wasn't going to let it slide, because there are certain comments that I ignore, but that comment was quite harmful, in my opinion. That person said something to the effect of, oh, our culture is demonic, and they were talking about witchcraft, evil spirits, and so on. So I checked them, and later on they deleted that comment. What I don't understand is, what has led Zimbabweans, or what has led Africans to associate their culture with demons? What is demonic about our culture as Zimbabweans? What is so wrong about our culture? Because this is our culture. Our culture, or in our culture, we believe in the extended family. That is our culture. It is an important part of our culture. We believe in the importance of community. We come as a community. We believe that it takes a village to raise a child. That is one aspect of our culture. In our culture, we have mutupos, okay? I am Sokwa Fanaka, you Anzo, Samanyanga, whatever your mutupo is. What is demonic about that? That is how we identify ourselves in Zimbabwe. And I have made a video, a whole video about our culture and traditions and customs. So, what is demonic about what I've just said? Yes, as Zimbabweans, as Africans, we also talk about witchcraft. We acknowledge the existence of evil spirits. And here's my take on that as a Christian. I believe that as a Christian, if I believe that the devil is out to kill, steal, and destroy, then it means I also believe in those things, in the evil spirits, and I can't believe in God without also acknowledging that the devil exists. So that has got nothing to do with my culture. It has got nothing to do with my culture as a Zimbabwean. It has got nothing whatsoever to do with that. So this is how we see ourselves. This is how we look at ourselves as Africans, as Zimbabweans. We see our culture as demonic. So if we can't respect ourselves, if we can't value ourselves, value our cultures, our languages, we look down on ourselves. So if we look down on ourselves, if we don't respect ourselves as Zimbabweans, as Africans, why do you expect other people to respect us? Why do you expect other people to think highly of us, of our countries? Why do you even expect them to expect good things to come out of Zimbabwe, to expect good things to exist in Zimbabwe? It is because of how we represent ourselves when we're out there. So Tiffany and the people she was trying to convince in that video are not to blame. Zimbabweans and Africans, we are to blame because of how we represent Africa out there. We are the ones to blame. I don't blame anybody. And I'm not going to go into the historical context of this, but we are in 2024. We know better and we should do better. I'm not going to sit here and start blaming history. I'm not going to sit here and start blaming whatever happened in the past, because we always try to justify ourselves as Africans, as Zimbabweans, to say, oh, the reason why we have got an inferiority complex is because of history. We were told this and that. But this is 2024. We know better. We know better. Why are we still believing untruth about ourselves? Why are we still maintaining those lies? We are perpetuating whatever we think was done to us. We are still perpetuating it by rejecting ourselves left, right, and center. No one else is to blame, especially in this day and age, because we know better. We should know better by now. Nobody else is to blame. Don't look at other people and say, oh, it was because of them, and that's why we think like this. That's why we behave like this. No. We already know better. We choose. Now we choose. It's a choice now. It has become a choice. And that is what we need to be asking ourselves. Why are we choosing? Why are we choosing to look down on ourselves? Why are we choosing to disrespect ourselves? Why are we choosing to say those things about us? Why are we choosing to behave the way we do out there? Misrepresenting our culture, misrepresenting who we are as African people. As African people, we have our way of life. Why are we choosing to take part or to participate in those discussions where they talk down to Africans or where they talk badly about Africans? Even if we take part, why are we choosing to remain quiet, or why are we choosing not to set the record straight? Why are we choosing to be quiet when we need to speak up? Yes, this time people spoke up. Zimbabweans spoke up, Africans spoke up, and we are speaking up. But the fact that the fact that Tiffany had to make that video, it means that we still have a long way to go. We have a long way to go as Africans, as Zimbabweans. That is why people still think we live in trees. That is why people still think that Africa is an awful, awful place, that there's nothing good there. The way people talk about Africa, sometimes it breaks my heart. It really breaks my heart. It really breaks my heart. So this is why I say Tiffany is not to blame. You are directing your anger, your disgust, your shock, your rage, your outrage, whatever, to the wrong person. Tiffany, as far as I'm concerned, was doing God's work. She was just trying to help you. She was helping you out to say, look, they actually have supermarkets. What you think about Africa is not correct. What they told you is not correct. They have supermarkets. Oh, they have these products. Oh, they actually feed their dogs. Oh, they actually clean themselves. She was just trying to help out. She was doing God's work, because guess what? When we talk about our own countries, we say awful things about them, about our own countries. We don't point out the good things because there are plenty. So Tiffany is not the problem here. Tiffany is not the issue. The issue is with us.